Dear Thầy, dear Sangha, in this presentation we continue on the nature of reality, part 2, stand 33. We talked about birth and death depend on conditions. Consciousness is by nature a discriminatory manifestation. Perceiver and perceived depend on each other as subject and object of perception. Here is what Thầy explained. According to the manifestations only teachings, birth simply means manifestation, the appearance of a phenomenon, while death means the absence of a manifestation or an appearance. So birth and death come about based on conditions. When conditions are favorable, there is birth, manifestation, and there is also death, the absence of manifestation. When consciousness manifests, there is, as we already learned, differentiation and discrimination. Discrimination say this is self and that is other than self. It is the sword that cuts and divides what is self from what is not self. But discrimination is not the truth. It is an imaginary construction, a fabrication of our mind. The Chinese ideogram for the term vikalpa or discrimination means universally comparing. To compare is to say this is inside and this is outside, this continues to exist and that ceases to exist. The perceiver and the perceived, two of the three aspects or phases of consciousness, depend on each other in order to manifest. Neither can exist independently. When you are angry, there is always an object of your anger. You are angry with someone or at something. When you are in love with someone. So the nature of consciousness is to manifest perception in which subject and object support each other to make the perceiver and the perceived possible. Consciousness manifests as rivers, mountains, stars, and sky. When we look at the rivers, mountains, stars, and sky, we can see thinking in the deep blue waters and in perception in the stars. This is true because all these phenomena are manifestation of consciousness, objects of perceptions, both collective and individual. When we believe to be an objective reality is first of all the object of our perception. We have to distinguish between the words consciousness and manifestation. A manifestation means that both a subject of perception and at the same time an object of perception have manifested. For example, if I show you my hand, you cannot see my ability to play guitar, right? But that doesn't mean that this ability does not exist. It is simply unmanifested. If I were to take a sheet of music paper and I start to move my hand while reading the notes on the music, you would then see the ability of my hand to play guitar. In this case, we could say it would then be manifested. So birth and death depend on conditions. Production and disintegration depend on conditions. Consciousness does not manifest only as the subject of perception, the perceiver. When there is manifestation of consciousness, it is at the same time both aspects of perception, perceiver, and perceived. Let's go to our next stance. Stance 34. In individual and collective manifestation, self and non-self are not two. The cycle of birth and death is achieved in every moment. Consciousness evolves in the ocean of birth and death. When we look into any phenomenon, material, physiological, or psychological, we can see how much individuality and how much collectivity is in it. The seeds of anger in us are our individual manifestation because it make us to suffer, right? But this does not mean that they have nothing to do with the other people. When we are angry, it is difficult for those around us to be happy. In this way, our anger is also a collective manifestation. All phenomena are individual and collective at the same time. Just as the hole in the ozone layer is linked to the survival of all species on Earth, the happiness and suffering of someone living in, for example, the United States, is linked to the happiness or suffering of someone living in Canada. When we can see into the essence of collective and individual manifestation, ideas of self and other, self and non-self will cease to exist. In the beginning, we distinguish between self and non-self, me and you, and we are concerned only with what has to do with ourselves. But after a while, we discover that if we do not look after what is not ourselves, the consequences will be very critical. If we do not take good care of our partner, we will receive the effects of our non-caring. If we do not demonstrate our concern about the hole in the ozone layer, we will suffer the consequences of our lack of concern. So when we look deeply into collective and individual manifestation, we see that self and non-self cannot be separated from each other. We also see that the cycle of rebirth recurs in every instant. We do not have to wait until we die to be reborn. We are being reborn in every moment. Think back to the circle of light made by the stick of incense. That light is reborn in each instant. The light of this moment is the rebirth of the light of the previous moment. Nor is it true that we have another 10 or 20 or 50 more years until we die. In fact, we are dying in every moment. We are dying right now, and our death could bring about something very beautiful and precious, just as the death of one instant of light makes it possible for the next instant of light to be reborn. So we think that when we arrive at a certain point, we die, but that is not the way it is. We are already present in all corners of the universe. We are present in our children, students, friends, readers, all the people we have made happy, as well as all the people we have made suffer. Birth means manifestation, and death means non-manifestation. A non-manifestation and a new manifestation can take place simultaneously. The ending of a cloud and the beginning of a rain can be seen as simultaneous. In fact, there is nothing ending and nothing beginning. There is only a flow of manifestation. So we will stop here and wishing you a good week. Stay safe, stay strong. Vin is bowing out, and thank you all for your listening.